I'll get the glory. We'll win the fight.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Sorry for the lack of videos the last few weeks. I've just kind of been getting back into my normal schedule after I went on my trip to LA because I was gone almost 2 weeks. And then this week I got sick, so I've missed so much school and I've been trying to catch up and then getting back to work and all that kind of stuff. So life has just been crazy the past few weeks, so I have not been able to sit down and film a whole lot of makeup tutorials. But today I'm going to be showing you my updated eyebrow routine. I did one a couple years ago on my channel, but I thought it was time to update it. And yes, I did film a makeup tutorial on this look, so that video should be up next. It is one of my favorite looks at the moment. It is really springy and rosy. But anyway, this video is about brows, and I'm going to go over how I fill in my brows. So as far as grooming my brows, I just tweeze the stray hairs on a daily basis. Like if I see one, I pluck it. I don't like sit down and completely pluck my brows like once a week or something. I just, as I need it and see it needed, I pluck a hair. But every few weeks I will go get my brows threaded at a local eyebrow threading salon, and that is my favorite way. Waxing I just think really hurts and it's not good for your skin. It like tears the upper layer of your skin, and threading does not, because it's literally just like tweezing except they're using a thread. So they loop it around the hair and pluck it out. So it is the same as tweezing. They can just be more precise. And they just really get a nice shape to my brows, and I just ask them to keep it very thick because I like thick brows. So that is what they do. I actually got them threaded a few days ago, so they're pretty fresh, so I wanted to film this video when they were fresh. But yeah, I'm going to go over what I use really quickly. I'll tell you the products I'm going to be using in the video. My favorite brow pencil is the Kevyn Aucoin Precision Brow Pencil. I also really like the Anastasia one, but this is the one I've been using, and I've gone through literally probably like 10 of these, and I like it. It has a nice spoolie on one end so you can comb through your brows, and then it has a really small defined tip so you can really get the look of individual hairs. And then as far as brow powder goes, you don't have to use something labeled as a brow powder. You just want to find an eyeshadow that is the color of your brows. I like to use one that's a little darker and one that's a little lighter. So I use the lighter one towards the center, and that's how you get that kind of ombre effect, is using a lighter color towards the center and then the darker on the outer half. So what I like to use is my Becca Ombre Nudes palette, because you can use this as eyeshadow, you can use it for brows, you can use it for contouring. It's just nice to have it all in one, especially when you travel. You have your shadow and your brow colors all in one palette, and that's awesome. Now if you don't have that and you want to look for an actual brow powder that's just in a small compact, I really like the Anastasia ones. Then as far as brow gel, I like to set my brows with brow gel just to keep them in place. I think the color lasts longer and the stray hairs don't go anywhere. So I like to use the NARS tinted brow gel. I like a tinted brow gel because I feel like if I have any uneven areas to where one area is kind of darker with brow powder and one area is lighter, this just kind of like blends it all together and helps it look more even. You just have to be a little bit careful if you are going to use a tinted brow gel, because if you get outside of your brow line, you'll see like a brown smudge. But that's just something to keep in mind. But enough of explaining the products. Let's jump into how I actually do my brows. Okay, so before I do my brows, I always like to even out the redness around my eyebrows and eyelids. I think it makes your brows look better, and it also makes your shadow look more even. So I will go in with whatever foundation or concealer that I'm using. Just make sure it's not too heavy when you put it on. So today I'm just going to be using a little bit of my Makeup Forever Ultra HD stick. I like it since it's full coverage. I don't have to use a lot of it, so I just literally dot it around my brows and right underneath. And again, if a little bit gets on your brows, it's okay. Because I learned this trick from Melissa Alatorre when she did my makeup, and it actually, in the end, you will see helps your brows just go on a lot more even. So then I just kind of buff it in and I blend it around my eyelids. And you can see how that just really evened out around my eyes, because that foundation stick is just so full coverage. It really is like a concealer. And then I will go ahead and set that with powder once I do the rest of my face before I do my eyes. Or if I am doing my eyes before my face, I will just go ahead and set it with a little bit of powder now. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do for my brows is just set them with a tiny bit of powder. And this will just help get rid of any of the slip from the foundation. Okay, so now that I set them with powder, I'm just going to go ahead and comb through them with a spoolie brush. It's just one of these little things. This comes on the end of my Kevyn Aucoin brow pencil. So if you don't have one on the end of your brow pencil, which most of them do now, just use a separate one. And it's really important to always comb them into place before you fill them in so you have an idea of what you're working with. Okay, so I like to start off with my brow pencil, and I'm going to zoom you guys in so you can see a little bit better. So I'm just going to start by outlining underneath my brow any of these sparse areas. And get kind of a defined line. And I'm also going to do that on the top. Kind of like where the arch, I like to kind of exaggerate my arch a little bit because there's kind of a little bare spot right there. And any time I feel like I kind of messed up or put a little too much, which happens, I just go back in with my concealer brush, and there's usually a little bit left over, and then I just make sure I really blend it out. And then towards the inner part of my brow with the pencil, I just do little short strokes up to kind of create the look of real hair. So just little flicks up towards the brow. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So the pencil I just can be more precise with starting off. Okay, so the next thing that I like to do is to go in with a powder because I think the combination of a pencil and a powder looks really good. You get the definition from the pencil and then you get more of the softness from the powder. So I like to fill in my whole brow with powder. I like to just use my Becca Ombre Nude palette. It has a really nice range of matte neutrals. So I usually use this one towards the center and front of my brow. And then I will use a little bit of the darker one too. So you can always use a regular brow powder like the Anastasia brow powders. I used to use those a lot, but since I have this, it's nice that it's all in one. And I just kind of start towards the center and kind of push up. And I fade it in towards the front. So I just use a much lighter pressure because I kind of like it to look kind of faded from light to dark. And then I'm going to go in with the darker shade and kind of focus it on this outer half in the tail. And then from here, I just kind of blend that pencil out a little. And I think I like how that looks. And then I'm going to go and do the same thing on the other side. Okay, then like I said, I will go back in with my concealer brush with just a little bit of leftover concealer. You don't want to use too much. And if there's any areas that need cleaning up, I will touch them up right under here. But you don't need to do this unless you have a little bit of an unevenness or any hairs that are growing out. So don't overdo it if you don't need it because it can kind of look fake if you overdo it. So then I'm going to set my brows in place with a tinted brow gel. I kind of like to use the tinted because I think it kind of evens out the color if I missed any spots. So I go in with the NARS tinted brow gel. My color is in Keen Sasha, which is the dark brown. And this brow gel is so pigmented, so I just like to wipe off the edges of it so I just have a tiny bit on the brush. Because if not, you'll just get way too much product in your brows. So I just like to wipe it off. And then I just start lightly. And I like to brush my hairs up in the front. It gives it that more natural, fresh look. Some people don't like the kind of bushy front of the brow. I personally really like it. And then towards the outer part, I comb it sideways and then down. So just in the direction the hair naturally grows. And then the other side, again, I brush it up in the front and then to the side and down. And that is it. Okay guys, guys, so that is it for my brow routine. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I hope you found it helpful. I hope it wasn't too complicated. I know I see so many like super complicated brow tutorials on Pinterest and Instagram, and I'm like, it does not have to be that complicated and dramatic. Just follow your natural brow shape and do what works for you. But I hope you guys can use these tips and implement them into your brow routine. And if you want to see any other like quick tip videos like this that are focused on one area of the face, let me know. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!
Don't matter who's calling, I feel that bass coming, and all of a sudden I'm falling. You know I'm all about that bass, no trouble. I'm all about that bass,